Welcome to TechFaithful, LA chapter. I'll be your presenter, Aloysius Siwa, and this is the presentation for the 26th of August 2017. And the topic is how AI is changing our lives. AI is short for artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence stands for something man-made that is intelligent. So we'll look at the applications, and we will code a simple neural network, and we'll look at where AI is heading. Again, AI is the ability of a machine or something man-made, program, a device, to acquire and apply knowledge and skills. The important distinction here is to apply these skills and the knowledge that it has acquired. So essentially it's behaving like a person. Although there was a lot of people interested in and working on making machines smarter, the field of research of artificial intelligence was essentially born in 1956 by five scientists at a conference. And there have been a number of times when interests arose and interests fell in AI, largely due to the developments in technology along the way. There has been a big jump in interest recently when big tech companies like Google, Facebook, and Microsoft started getting involved, and due to a merger of three big developments. Okay, that has been big data, high-speed computing, and the discovery or rediscovery of deep learning or artificial neural networks with hidden layers. And that has brought about the new concept of intelligence, where machines actually discover, apply knowledge learned, and they do all this without human intervention in most cases. Although artificial intelligence and machine learning are mostly confused, they're two totally different areas, as machine learning is just a subset of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence can involve the reasoning, the presentation of the knowledge, for example, as different objects, different parameters, the planning, for example, which path will give the best reward or output, and then the learning itself, gaining new information, which is the machine learning in this case. And also we have a lot of other disciplines in artificial intelligence, such as natural language processing. If you have used Siri or Alexa before, that's what it's using. And then perception, how information is received from our environment. So if you've read any new information about artificial intelligence, you've noticed things like self-driving cars, or cameras, or photo detection systems. All these have an aspect of perception, where an image or sound is fed into an input that is attached to artificial intelligence. So these are different disciplines in artificial intelligence that make it different from machine learning. So this is a brief outline of how artificial intelligence has gained interest over the years. There's been a lot of interest and discussion of artificial intelligence way back since the Industrial Revolution. However, there's been the serious research and classifying it as a field of interest began in the mid-50s, and there has been a lot of artificial intelligence winters, actually two artificial intelligence winters, where there has not been any interest in the area, or the interest has died down because these areas lost funding, and there is no one interested in following up, or there hasn't been real solutions that can be used in real life to make it an area of interest. Recently there has been, like I mentioned, a huge jump in interest because of the deep learning technique, which was discovered way back by a Soviet scientist called Alexei Grigorovich. I don't know if I've pronounced that right, but it was way back. And the difference between the artificial neural network, okay, that is not deep, and that is deep is the hidden layer. Okay, so a deep neural network has hidden layers. Okay, these are layers between the input and output layer. Okay, these are layers that are not visible on the output or input, hence hidden. Okay, and this was way back, but the interest wasn't focused on it until recently, when the computing capabilities caught up with the concept. So where do we normally use AI in our lives? If you look around you, there's definitely AI. You're already using AI. Of course, the common ones, Alexa and Siri, Tesla, the automatic driving cars, the driverless cars, IBM Watson, healthcare diagnosis, the Google search, whether by sound or text, healthcare monitors, nanobots being used in surgery, and so on and so forth. These are just examples of where AI is being applied in our daily lives. So we're going to look at how a neural network is set up. Our brains work on almost a very similar approach. We have inputs. For example, they could be your eyes. We have a lot of hidden neurons that handle a lot of the processing, and then we have the output, or what you do with the information gathered. There are a lot of and this is really a simplified version of how this is done, but we use this for our first dive into this area. So there are three different approaches in learning for a neural network. Okay, and there is supervised, where a concept is provided for the neural network, and expected inputs, outputs. It's trained, and based on the concept, the neural network learns new information, and it uses that concept that's fed into the neurons as direction on what is the right output based on the inputs. The unsupervised is totally different. Unsupervised means inputs are provided, the output, expected output, is not provided, and the neural network is expected to figure out the output, and it usually does this by looking at the average, regression analysis, even clustering, and so on and so forth. Now, the middleman or in between between the supervised and unsupervised is reinforcement learning. This is sort of related to if you look at the normal human life, this is like learning how to ride a bicycle. This means when a neural network is provided with inputs and outputs, it's encouraged along the right approach. However, it's also allowed sometimes to use the other approaches, other methods to learn, while the right one, based on the known concept, is encouraged. Now, giving the freedom to use other means to get to the same output allows for discovery, which is not encouraged in the supervised learning approach. Okay, so reinforcement learning has become very popular, especially for areas that are not properly well known, even for human engagements. For example, where people are doing medical research, okay, or learning new ways of classifying or clustering data. Okay. Now, there's one other area that is important to look at: deep learning. And deep learning uses artificial neural networks with at least one or more than one hidden layer. Okay, and what this does is, just using the example shown below, we have from TechCrunch, we have inputs of images, and based off different layers, the network has to output the right image on the other side, and this is achieved by using the learned algorithms and approaches to make the decision when going through these different layers and choosing the right path to get to the right decision based on the weight of the different parts. And we'll see most of these in our coding session. Okay, so what is the future of artificial intelligence? Right now, most of the businesses are just waking up to using machines and artificial intelligence. However, there's a lot of areas that are being developed to further merge the human and the machine by actually attaching artificially intelligent equipment to our bodies. And this is going to increase abilities of a number of people and of course make them perform much better. There's also going to be a replacement of humans for most of the manual tasks, for example driving, for example factory floor work, agricultural work, and so on and so forth. And a lot of wars will be fought by machines now that we have drones, we have equipment being carried, and guns being fired by machines. And in addition to that, we'll have better healthcare because we'll have a lot of breakthroughs just because machines have a collection of the world's knowledge on a particular subject or a particular drug, and they can easily aggregate and sift through this information to get the right discovery, which is very hard or takes years and years for a human being. And the future is already here, folks. We already have driverless cars delivering things. Neuraless is being worked on by a famous Elon Musk to actually merge human brain with machines, and these machines are already being used in stock picking and in wars, as you've noticed. Thank you for listening, and don't miss next Saturday's Tech Talk, where we'll set up a web server from scratch. And I welcome any questions and feedback, and feel free to join our meetup group and the Google group for discussions. Is TechFaithful at googlegroups.com.